So before Spider-Man comes out tomorrow, which I'm very excited for, I wanted to circle back to this. This is something this is a shell that we kind of started with when Edge came out, and then we kind of like glossed over it so we could focus on some other Tezzeret builds. But this build is really different from the first time we were playing it. The first time we were playing Ugin's Lab, Notron. We were playing Ugin's Lab, Notron. We were playing Ugin, Devour of Destiny, just trying to be like more of a fair deck. And I ended up feeling like we had like a lot of too much air in the deck, especially with the Devour of Destinies. So the idea here is that we like this might not look like a combo deck, but it really is. Where the idea is that your main win conditioning is Karn for Paradox Engine, and then just untapping your mana and churning through your deck with Mystic Forge, and then killing them with Glaring Fleshraker. And I think it's really fun that the combination of like K Command, Fleshraker, Tezzeret for Ballista, just Tezzeret in general, Karn, Saga gives you like a reasonable degree of a fair plan, and then the presence of mana from your Tron lands and from Glaring Fleshraker and from K Command gives you some degree of resiliency against your mana hate. And if your opponent's hating on your artifact mana, you have your land mana, and vice versa. Um, building the mana was really weird. Where for a while I was playing like less lands, 4 Mox Opals, 4 expedition maps. But I really did not like that I was not playing Eldrazi Temple in my Glaring Fleshraker K Command deck. And I ended up realizing that between Urza Saga and Tezzeret, I think it's just okay to play only 1 expedition map. And you still have some natural Tron games. You can set up for Tron with K Command. And then a lot of times when you just have your Tezzeret or your Saga trigger, you just get your third piece of Tron and then you go. And it's really, really nice to only play 1 expedition map because the one issue with this deck is that so much of the build is just mana sources, and so having 4 maps bloats up the deck in a big way. So this gets to feel a lot more streamlined, which is nice. And there's one more thing. Oh, and then also the Candy Trail. The Candy Trail I think is the best card selection you can get with Tezzeret. I think it's important that you have like one way to kind of churn through your deck with Tezzeret because you have a lot of air. Also, the Endstone is a really, really nice. It's a really, really nice tutor target for Karn. With how low the curve is, you get to draw a lot of cards with it, and then you also get to play the Battleship too. Lantern still. All 3 of our Mystic Forges in our opening hand is weird. I do like that I can go Surge Node on turn 1, and if my opponent isn't playing a deck with removal, I can play Coretapper turn 2. Otherwise, I can wait on turn 3, get an Everflowing Chalice, and then start making that Everflowing Chalice really crazy. King with the 15 months, thank you, welcome back. I had a good weekend, very full weekend. You compete in other TCGs? No. Okay, well, amazing to just draw the mana battery here. This way I can play the Coretapper, and if they kill it, I can just sack it to put 2 counters, and I also get to use the Surge Node this turn. Yeah, my opponent kind of 3 perfects to kill me at the end of that game 3. It was pretty tough. It's King of the Red Lines. Ah, I see. Well, thank you for the resubscription. Okay, they're playing an untapped Steam Vince in response to this. Are they spell pursing my Chalice? They're consigning the Chalice. Okay. So I guess we're playing against Domain Zoo. Let me play this Coretapper out. Maybe it's a little bit risky-bisky, but it will probably put them in a weird spot where they like want to play a threat versus kill the Coretapper. We get Everflowing Chalice again. We put a counter on the Everflowing Chalice. I mean, maybe this isn't Domain Zoo. Maybe this is Yes Guy Scam, as they like to call it. I'm 1 mana short of playing Mystic Forge or Fleshraker into Mystic Forge. So we'll just cast a Mystic Forge. And yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and cash this in. Definitely can't complain about a second Fleshraker. Don't think I want to draw a Coretapper. Do want to play the Mox Opal. And pass back. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Hallowed Fountain, Zoo usually doesn't play Fountain, so they probably have like Doorkeeper Thrall. Oh, they have a Felia? Oh no, Felia is so annoying against our deck. Because they can just reset the Everflowing Chalice. Although I do have double Glaring Fleshraker, so maybe that'll be good. And maybe they'll just scam the Riddler without thinking about it. Thank you, Tentacle, for the 24 also. They ephemerate the Riddler, so they're probably going to go after the Chalice after all. Definitely a tough curve to run into. Consign into Felia into Riddler. But we do have Mystic Forge in play and double Fleshraker in hand, which can go pretty crazy. But we don't want to draw a land here. We need some cheap spells to trigger the Fleshraker. Not a cheap spell. That being said, I think since I'm not going off with the Fleshrakers, I think just casting this and like, oh sorry, I was for some reason I was counting the Eldrazi Temple as 2 for Karn. But I was thinking I would just go like cast this and grab a Paradox Engine. Why sacking the Coretapper immediately if the opponent's not putting on the pressure? So I can cast a 4-mana spell instead of doing like nothing this turn. I guess I could cast a Fleshraker instead, but you sack so you almost always with these decks you try to like untap with the Coretapper and then just put 3 counters and start going off instead of just like waiting a long time. So it's really rare that you just leave Coretapper in play to like make 1 counter every turn. You even a lot of times just play it and sack it immediately. It's just too slow. But like you know the Mystic Forge like immediately let me cast 2 spells. You just got to get going. Although I will say this line was a lot worse against Felia, but I wasn't really expecting to get Felia, I guess. Maybe I should have been. They have another Riddler. Third Riddler. Kind of interesting that they would run out the third Riddler here. You'd think you would probably just want to wait on this one to scam with Felia next turn, unless they're just committed to going after my Chalice, which I'm going to be content with that they're not targeting the Riddler. Do they not have a land? Oh, they said that they already played their land. All right, so 2 Riddlers warp away, and we'll see if they have found a Solitude for the Fleshraker or not. If they haven't, things should be pretty good. Okay, so when I cast this, I'm going to have 2 mana afterwards. Really like to have the Tezzeret, but I think I just need to find a cheap spell. And there's a cheap spell. The Surge Node is +1 mana here. And also 4 damage. Although, unfortunately, we can't play the Urza's Mine. Can't do a lot else here. Got him down to 6 life. Not under too much pressure, though. I'm going to Flage a Fleshraker and go to 9. We'll see if they have like an Ephemerate for the Flage to kill both of them. Should be pretty okay. Couldn't you cast Mystic Forge into cast Mystic Forge? No, I have 3 mana. These cost 4. But also not that I could cast the second one. By putting counters on the Chalice first. Well, it cost a mana to put a counter on the Chalice with the Surge Node. These don't just tap. So it's -1 mana +1 mana, which is mana neutral. They're targeting the Surge Node. I guess I can just activate that end of turn. Which is better to play around Prismatic Ending. Although I'm going to go block and activate the other one here. And then when this Surge Node comes back, we'll tap the Chalice to activate it. Okay, so untapping, we draw a mine, and then there's another mine on top. We'll just start by tapping the Mystic Forge. Let me make sure that I can't Paradox Engine here. I don't think I can. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana, so I'm 1 short of Paradox Engineing, although here's 2 mana. And then the Surge Node is mana neutral. So if I do get Paradox Engine off the Karn, I'm not going to be able to cast another spell. So we'll probably end up getting something else. I have 7 mana available. Endstone don't have quite enough resources. 1 mana short of casting Extinguisher Battleship. Could just get Ensnaring Bridge. I could get Aetherflux. Let's get Aetherflux Reservoir. Just gonna pad the life total some here. Get to play this into a Mystic Forge into maybe another spell or two. Maybe this does put me dead to Flage. I thought I was gonna gain a little bit more life than this, honestly. And I can't quite cast the cake. Maybe this was silly. I should have just got the bridge. Okay, fancy play syndrome on a Monday morning. So we'll see if they can escape the Flage. They probably can. And then they go kill, hit me for lethal. Yeah, so oops. All right, do you want to bring in the relic for their Flage? I don't think so. I think they're attacking from a bit too many angles there. Let me check out on the challenge. 7 matches still in progress. Warp Ruler, and end your turn. It will go away on your opponent's instep. Yeah, it would have been better for go for bridge. I must have said that like 3 times. Sorry. What is dice? So the dice factory kind of refers to how this deck plays in paper usually, where you put a lot of dice on your Everflowing Chalice and your Astral Cornucopias, and you're like ticking them up really regularly to make a bunch of mana. Okay, but yeah, I'm interested in this warp sundial of the infinite thing. So you warp your Quantum Riddler, and then in response to the warp leaving, you end the turn, and then it goes, and then the warp triggers again on your opponent's turn. I think you have to go Karn Engine and cast Surge Node and go there. Oh, you know what? I think that you're right. I think I just overthought, because I get the mana off the Paradox Engine too, which I think I wasn't counting. And then yeah, you're right. That would have been the win too. So maybe a little bit of rust here. All right, no mana battery, no keep with all the charger uppers. Don't exactly love this hand on the play. I think we can go to 5. Our deck typically does mulligan pretty well. So let's keep this one, and I'm thinking putting back the Karn. Usually the Mystic Forge just compensates as your card advantage. I also, yeah, I think with this hand especially, but usually I do just lead on Urza Saga almost every single time with these decks. Yeah, I don't think Warp is supposed to ever trigger on your opponent's turn. I think that it should like stop. If what's happening to you is you sundial the infinite and then the sundial and then it excels on your opponent's turn. To me, that does sound like a bug. Oh, I drew the one of expedition map. I was planning on tutoring. Could be a little bit risky to play the map out, but I think it's okay because if they like prismatic ending this turn, then that means that I can just get a Surge Node, activate or start charging up the Everflowing Chalice, then cast Mystic Forge. My opponent has no counter magic available, which is a little bit surprising, I guess. They probably do have Felia, so we kind of should expect our Everflowing Chalice to get reset. I'm gonna go ahead and play the Mystic Forge, and hopefully the Tron mana next turn makes this not such a big problemo. Get to play that for free. I think I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can get lucky and find like a Mox Opal underneath the Surge Node. No, but I don't hate seeing Coretapper. There's Felia. Actually really like reprieving consigned decks. Could you elaborate on like the synergy those two have? Is it just that like consign like helps you deal with the cast triggers that are problematic, so reprieve gets more flexible? You can replicate consigned and reprieve the original consigned. Okay, that is pretty cool. It's pretty mana intensive, but pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that. So they prismatic ending my Astral Cornucopia, which seems way worse than targeting the map. I don't really know why they did that. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to go ahead and crack the map. I'm going to get an Urza's Tower. If they had a Charmaul, you'd think they would have Charmauled and then flickered this turn also. So we are going to be, unfortunately, a mana short of exiling the Felia with K command. But why don't we just go ahead and leave up the K command X equals 1 where we can sack the Coretapper at instant speed. I've been playing your new Omni deck, and the first version I never saw the Wizard one. Which you prefer? The Wizard build, build I think is certainly the better build. Just for like every reason, if that's okay. So this is why they have the Phantom. I'm gonna not cast the K command because I think it's more important that I don't just get my Everflowing Chalice reset really easily by the Felia. Now that they've kept me off Tron. I think Kiora is a little bit weird in that deck. I typically am like Kiora's #1 defender or whatever, but I'm not sure I think she makes that much sense there, I guess. But yeah, the flames are just so good. It's like it's just better. It's better with your Omni plan, and it's better with your fair plan. So this Everflowing Chalice is going to tap for 6 mana. So I can just go Karn Bridge here. I tried the Cosmic Wave Serum Powder Zoo deck. Super fun. The mana base needs a little work. Yeah, you know, I'd love if you had some feedback on what to change. It just feels like you need like a ton of reps with these zoo lists to like really understand all the little kinks. The mana bases are so weird to build. I agree. And obviously, like, there's the weirdness with like powdering away your lands, but then you also like powder into your ley lines. Like, do you like IPAs? I always thought they tasted like trash. I tend to like IPAs, although I don't really drink beer almost ever these days, because I've been on health journey. I'll probably drink some Japanese whiskey when I'm in Japan though. Alright, so we'll see if we got some action underneath this Urza's power plant. That counts. What do I think about Neoform? I think it's good. I kind of, you know, some people have been talking about how they kind of think that might be like more of a breakout deck at the PT this weekend, which I could definitely see. The Solitude Pitch Felia, so we'll go ahead and I think start off by killing the Phantom, which is a little bit better against an Ephemerate, right? Oh, okay. My favorite liquor is Mezcal, which is like agave liquor, pretty similar to tequila. Yeah, there's a PT this weekend in Atlanta. It's a modern PT also. Technically, the Spider-Man cards are legal. Like, I would expect almost no one to register Spider-Man cards at the PT. I do not expect them to just do much. Okay, so this is 10, which is one short of Paradox Engine Karn, although you know, we're gonna win this one, so we might 3-0 this match since we should have won game 1. Storm of Spider-Punk. Yeah, the thing is, what does Spider-Punk do better than Orum's Chant? Like I feel like Orum's Chant, it's better to wish for Orum's Chant than it is to wish for Spider-Punk. I guess it's better against Force of Negation. So like that's something. I'm expecting some Goros players to try the Demir Spider-Man since most of the hate is single target stuff. Yeah, maybe it would be cool if some stuff showed up, and I do think that there's some pretty solid playable stuff, but it's just so hard to test these cards too. Like you have to do in-person testing for them because they just have not been out on Magic Online. Like deck lists are due on Wednesday, and the cards come out on Magic Online on Tuesday. Which honestly, it's that kind of just sucks. Like that they did that. All right, let's go to mulligan this. I think we keep this on 6 on the draw. Let's put back the Karn. I think it's like, yeah, I think it really does suck that they did not let any online testers really test the new cards for this set. Not that the new cards are going to be that impactful, but it usually is the case that you have access to the online cards for a little bit to test with. Cockatrice exists. I mean, so the problem with Cockatrice exists is that it's like, of course there's proxies exist, playtests exist, but you know, I remember what it was like to go to my first pro tour with I did not know anybody else going to the pro tour. I qualified, I knew nobody. And I tested for that pro tour completely on Magic Online because I had no other resources to test with. My friends who played were not good enough, quite simply, and I like the only resource I had was Magic Online, and I did 100 drafts in like 2 weeks for the limited set, and I tested a ton of Magic Online. I came with what I thought was a really good deck, and it's not everybody just has, you know, people they can play with on Cockatrice. Tested the Cascade Build this weekend. Felt like there's a lot of tension between wanting to get Surveil Land turn 1 to hit land drops, try them on turn 2 to enable Binding. Well, the thing is, Binding's already enabled turn 2 with Surveil Lands. Is something I've kind of understood. Ugh. And getting Plains turn 3 around Moon while also playing Shardless. I would suggest adding the Surveil from red-white to green-white and adjust the Triumph's fetches accordingly. Okay, so, I mean, I just assume I'm very dense, and I mean this very seriously. It's like, how does swapping the Triumphs from red-white to green-white help you with Binding, Surveil Lands, and Blood Moon? I'm genuinely, sincerely asking because I get very overwhelmed when it comes to building these 4-color mana bases. To me, it seems like you have the exact same problems, but I'm open to the idea that you don't. And then also like adjust the rest of the fetches triumphs accordingly. I don't know. It's just it's just so much. It's so much. I'm just gonna go ahead and main phase cycle here. Try to hit my land. Hopefully an Urza's mine. It's because if you have red, white, Surveil plus Plains plus another land, you can't cast Shardless. Okay. I think that's good feedback. I just like with these 4-color mana bases, I just need it like more spelled out to me than you might think, because it's just there's just so many moving pieces that it's hard to just connect a couple of dots like this sometimes. That makes sense. So see if they have Ophelia. They did like K command consign a K, like consign a K command for 0 for some reason. So I would have guessed that they didn't have Felia, but it seems like they do. Basically, you want to split blue and green as well as red and green apart from Surveil and Triumph. Having blue-green on the same land leads to issues. I think that makes sense, yeah. I think that makes sense. Although, you know, we also have double red with the Hellkites. And so, like, I really like getting the red-white Surveil land because we have double red on the Hellkites. So I don't know, maybe red blue is like a better angle to go, or red green, but it is kind of a nightmare. I'm curious if Buzz Crusher is better than Hellkite against Lotus Field. I mean, Lotus Field sees almost no play in Modern. I mean, it sees play in Amulet Titan, but it's very rare that Amulet Titan like is exposing the Lotus Field, and then you have an opportunity to kill it. Oh, we just drew the Urza's Mine. Like usually you're just dead, right, when when Lotus Bloom hits. So like trying to target with Buzz Crusher is tough, but I think almost definitely the hard to walk and talk. I guess I'll cast this other Mystic Forge. Although casting the Tezzeret, can I get it ultimated this turn? I can if I find something off the map. I think I'll just get the second Forge in play. But yeah, the stun counter matters a lot, I think. I'm going to save the Mox Opal in my hand. Yeah, I like the Mardu Gora's build. I thought it was good. I wanted to play in a challenge. We ended up having, I think too much good new decks to play, which is a great problem to have. I think combining blue-white is the best, as it helps hardcasting Solitude and Riddler Subtlety the most. Well, we also, like, it's more important to hardcast your double red card than it is Subtlety, because you pitch cast Subtlety, you can't pitch cast this. And hardcasting Riddler almost never comes up in the 4-color Beans deck. You almost always have, 4-color Ritual deck. You almost always have Ritual in play, so it's like you almost always warp the Riddler. I think I've cast Riddler from Warp or 5 mana like less than 5 times. I did Thundering Falls and Lush Portico. That sounds like that could be a good direction. I think it's really important to have a red Surveil. I think it's important to have a Triome. It just is, it's so gross. But I do appreciate y'all's help in working on the mana base, because I do think it needs some work. But I just need I just need all of everything spread out every time, because there's so many moving pieces. Okay, round 2 is going to be starting soon. Checking your 4-color Cascade. Why did you take Charm replace with Hellkite in the main? Also, no counters in the side against Belcher control. So the Hellkites are in partially a big. This is partially a hedge against control and Belcher, where like being able to have 8 Stone Rain Dragons post-board against control is a good plan. And Hellkite is much better against Belcher than Charmhole is. And the big thing is that it costs 4 mana, so you can go age it into Ritual and to immediately put it into play. That dynamic is really big. It's also just much easier to cast. And then when you have the full 8 post-board against Tron and Control and Belcher, it's nice. We did just lose to Belcher round 1. I think it is your worst matchup. Although we lost when we had double Collector Oof and double Hellkite on the play. And it was just like they just had the Flood Ball into Tamashi into Belcher, which is just always going to be a tough thing to beat. Okay, so I have 10 mana with the Opal. All right, let's try to win. Yeah, I think it's just a better main deck card in general. I think it's better in all your matchups for the most part game 1, or the majority of your matchups game 1. And okay, I do not have Karn, which is a problem, but this seems pretty good. So just go top. Also, the round 2 of the challenge is about to start, so this does seem pretty lethal at least. They might have a Solitude or 2. I seen 2 days ago on Grixis Prowess. Interesting. Mox Opal, deal 4 damage, make 3 mana. An above average card. Okay, so we're 1-0 in this league. We're 0-1 in the challenge. We lost a very brutal game 3 against Belcher. I got to mulligan this. Gonna keep this one. Obviously, I need to keep the Surge Node, the Chalice, both lands. So I guess I'm just gonna put back the Candy Trail. Why only 3 Mick? I assume you mean Mox in the deck. So the thing with Dice Factory is so much of your deck is mana. So much of your effectively your whole deck is just mana sources. We're not the whole deck, but a huge percentage of your deck is just mana sources. And so when you get to you really just have to like trim where you can. And so like the fact that we only need to play 1 map because we have Saga and Tezzeret felt like a really nice way to lower the number of mana sources. It seems like to me like one less, like we're not like an all-in Mox Opal deck. Mox Opal is good in our deck. We're just, to me, it really felt like a spot where we could trim another mana source. It's a flooded stream. Yeah, at least one Peter Parker's camera in this deck. Maybe Esper Gorios, Esper Blink. So we do have K command for some graveyard hate. Yeah, I think we maybe should have a key. I was really just struggling on what to add, but the key is probably fine to include. It's just like because you also have Tron and you also have because you also have Tron and you also have Fleshraker, it gets a little bit weird where you just have so many mana sources, if that makes sense. Let's go ahead and play. And also the Tezzeret's function as keys a lot of the time. Yeah, I forgot about rings. So yeah, the rings plus the key goes infinite. And we were working on that a lot I can't remember when we were working at that. Maybe we should still, maybe that's a good reason to just still have that in, huh? But it's just like, again, like the Tezzerets make it weirder. Maybe K Command was a hero all along. This is a pretty good K Command. So I might be able to combo off this turn also, depending on what we draw. So this is 8 mana. Yeah, I can go for Paradox Engine. Let's see if this gets forced. Back. Okay. We'll bring in the Relic because we can get off of Tezzeret or Saga, and then we can still have Crypt to Karn for. I don't think we're going to be bringing in any other targets. I think we'll just cut the Candy Trail for the Relic. I watched the YouTube vid on the Cascade deck last night. I was curious on thoughts on playing Geological Praiser over Bloodbraid. It would allow you to play cards like Force in your deck post-board without being a whiff, obviously being ETB versus Casted Downside. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting angle if you think Force is something that's very important. It's a little bit weird too, where like I don't know if you would main deck Force of Negation. If you could, then I think it's like if you want to main deck Force, that would be worth it. Because I don't necessarily love making your deck only better in sideboard games where you want Force versus better in every other spot. But yeah, I do think if you think Force in the main is correct, then that seems like a good direction to go. Because I do think that the Bloodbraid Elf / Appraiser is a really important thing to maintain. Bloodbraid is also easier to cast. Like, although you are set up to cast double red on turn 4, it's not like the easiest all the time. So we have Tron. If we go for the Saga, we're gonna keep this, but it's kind of interesting with this hand is we can go Saga on turn 1 into Tronland Coretapper, and if they kill the Coretapper, we can just get Expedition Map to get Tron mana. Although we may need to get Relic. Yeah, Bloodbraid having haste is yeah, Bloodbraid having haste is important. I played a list. I played 1 key main deck and 1 Brightstone event. Okay, you have to play Paradox Engine in this deck. I think that card is like insanely mandatory. I think it's actually your best tutor target. I think there's like literally no card I would cut in the sideboard before Paradox Engine for whatever that's worth. We'll see if they have the Gorios end of turn. Ending one time. Yeah, I think it's a good point. Definitely interesting. So we'll see what happens, but I guess I'm leaning towards getting Everflowing Chalice, making it 3 powers, then going Tezzeret for Relic and having the activation up. We could also play the Coretapper, and we could go like make a 5 charged up Everflowing Chalice. Tap it for 5, play Tezzeret, play Mystic Forge. But I'm a little bit worried about I mean, they could have a lot of things up here. I've seen some of the Eldrazi Tron lists running Forsaken Monument to be able to kill with Instep K Command. Do you think it's too cute or worth exploring? I mean, for the most part, I'm not super interested in playing cards that are only really good with a big K Command. As it turns out, when you cast a big K Command, you're going to win almost every single time. And I think Forsaken Monument is it's not the worst option. Like I think sometimes Forsaken Monument ends up being good in spots where like you just have Karn, they're disrupting your Tron mana, and you just play it, and then even if you don't have Tron, everything is like still an Urza's power plant. I think that's actually like maybe more of a reason to play Monument than the big K Command kill. Not that the big K Command kill is bad. Okay, so let's get the Chalice. They took the Tezzeret. They do know my hand. Let's go ahead and play Coretapper and hold up K Command because they don't know about the K Command. They seem like they have the Consign. So maybe if they consign this, this should just be my cue to resolve a Karn. They know I have the Karn though, so let's just. Although it's, I suppose, not ideal that if they do top deck a Gorios, they can consign my K command. They've tapped out of consign. I'm going to go ahead and cash in K command X equals 2. Although I guess it's just better to say we have one less charge counter on the Everflowing Chalice, but we have 2 more spawn tokens for our really big critical turn here. And this also gives me 2 more looks at Urza's tower, which would be just insane. That's a power plant, not a tower. The relic seems good enough to keep with the Atrax in the yard, and then we'll just go ahead and see what we draw after that. Probably going to go for Paradox Engine here, of course. I mean, still going for Paradox Engine. Again, is I think the single best Karn target. Okay, we're up against Jinji, so it should be a fast match. I'm going to mulligan this. One way or the other should be fast. Go to 5. Tron. Missing 1 piece. 1 piece. On the draw, though. Oh no! My opponent casts 3 1-drops! average MH2 3 1-drop board. Oh, sorry, I should have X equal to 1. I thought we could play a 3-drop. We could have it an extra mana, which might end up mattering a lot. Will we ever have a Reverse again? Maybe one day. But it would have to be after some of my other non-magic projects happen. Oh no, my opponent casts 3 1-mana creatures. Try this on the play. Okay, punish for playing the Saga turn 1. If my opponent Blood Moons me, I do have the Eternal Urza Saga token plan. So it might get rewarded, I guess. Let's keep the Fleshraker. I think I'm just gonna kill a Ragavan. There's a chance we look at paired in the challenge. I do think my matchup is better in the challenge than on here right now. Oh no! Fuck. It's okay. Maybe saving the K command post Fleshraker doesn't seem too bad, but I should have cast it. I guess we'll just sack the Candy Trail here. Oh my gosh. Playing so bad. Sorry, I obviously needed to do that before the Ragavan triggered. Am I playing explosives on the board? I don't think I am. Sometimes do. Oops. Yeah, no explosives. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, this cat can still attack if I get bridge. I guess the plan is make a bunch of tokens and block. Like take 6. So this will be flying, this will be flying, so that's going to be 10 in the air. So I can go down to 4, and then I guess I'm taking 2 also here if I don't exile anything. I might need to exile something, huh? I think I need to exile the Ragavan. All right, so this is right now 7 plus 6 is 13. 12, 11, 10, so I don't die to Flage. 4 plus 6 is 10. Okay. You know what? I should have not played around Flage so that I could get the Battleship here. I think I made about every mistake possible this game. Just got kind of flustered after I made that one mistake. And as they do sometimes, they cascaded. I'm sorry. That's okay. Not the challenge. Six rounds still going. Whatever. So we're gonna go turn 1 Surge Node into Glaring Fleshraker plus Chalice, put a counter on Chalice, right? Yeah, it would have been an interesting game. I'm sorry for making some mistakes. It always just kind of happens where you make one mistake and they cascade into each other. I guess it maybe was better to just not play the Surge Node this turn so that I could deal 1 extra damage, but this is better against like Thoughtseize, right? Hopefully they don't have turn 1 Rebuke up. I'm okay, happy to see them tapping the Opal. They play a Tamiyo also. Another Mox Opal. So maybe they'll flip Tamiyo turn 1. Maybe they are holding up the Rebuke. Seems exceedingly likely that they have Rebuke, but because I drew second Fleshraker, we'll just definitely play the first one. And good to be wrong. So let's go ahead and play. I guess since we drew the second Fleshraker, it's a little bit weird. Yeah, I guess because we have second Fleshraker, we should. I was gonna play the second one on 0, and yeah, it's just better to save it for a turn. Interesting that they decided to cash in the Mox Opal for no value. Maybe they were trying to bluff Rebuke, but like it's like they would have had Metalcraft anyways with the Tamiyo attack. So like maybe they have Kappa Cannoneer, and this Mox Opal let them Kappa Cannoneer this turn. No, I just let them play an Emissary. Oh, we beat Prowess. We beat Prowess. We lost to Belcher with the 4-color deck. I think we got unlucky against Belcher and lucky against Prowess, so it all kind of evened out in the end. Okay, so we have Fleshraker, get a mana, then play 0, then we have 4, then we can play Mystic Forge with still the ability to play another 0 after that. Extra 1/1. Well, they would have the extra 1/1 off the Pinnacle Emissary this turn. But I would think that the extra Mox Opal activation is just almost always going to be more valuable. So they're going to be at 17. This puts them down to 5. It's 4 damage each. They might die this turn, depending on how lucky we can get with our Mystic Forge. Thoughts on Beza? Better at stabilizing against the board than aggro than Omnath. Omnath is just so much better in pitches to everything. Like, it's so much better, at least as far as card quality goes. I don't know. I'm also like, it's when you say against aggro too. Like, I think Omnath is better, might be better against Boros than Beza is, because it just lets you go over the top better. But I'm not sure. At the very least, I want to be that interested in main decking Beza over Omnath. So they are down to 9. See if we find anything here. We do find another copy of Mystic Forge, which is castable. So if we can find a spell that costs 2 or less mana off of the second Mystic Forge, we should have the turn 3 kill here. We get 2 looks, obviously, and there's 1. Thanks. And this is like a big part of the reason we're not playing the keys. Between Fleshraker and Tezzeret and the Tron mana, it's like the keys are just a lot worse. But maybe we should still have 1. Not saying I want over Omnath. Well, you did say better stabilizing than Omnath, so I thought you wanted it over Omnath, right? But yeah, you could play it somewhere in 75. I have very little experience with the card, and when I've seen the card in Modern, I will say that I've been unimpressed. Unimpressed. 2 Fleshrakers just kill so fast. Keep this on the draw against Affinity. Another turn 1 Mox hand. 3 cards left after this. 2 cards left. Not really so bad because I have Everflowing Chalice. If I didn't have exactly Everflowing Chalice, this would be pretty bad. Yeah, Bloodbraid Cascade into Agent into Ritual feels so insane. Also, just like Charlotte's Agent into Ritual and to put a Hellkite or an Omnath is really insane. It's just 3 mana, 4-drop and Birthing Ritual in play is it's pretty gross. Yeah, it's very odd that we got turn 1 Blood Moon and it's just not that good here. Opponent probably kept a such hand. Yeah, I mean, I think their hand was like definitely a keep, although not that they would ever sack this Mox Opal or some Mistress Bobble. So next turn I get to go play Chalice. We could do some interesting stuff. I'm gonna just see what I draw first. So I can go Glaring Fleshraker. Okay, I have to Fleshraker off the Chalice. So I go Chalice on 0, Coretapper, sack Coretapper, tap Coretapper. Tezzeret, untap Everflowing Chalice, play Fleshraker. Kind of weird to play the Tezzeret this turn and the Fleshraker without playing another card after, because I won't have a blocker for the Emissary. Why does it have a lore counter? I'm not sure actually if that's on purpose or if that's a mess up post new rule changes. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna wait on the second Coretapper here. This way I can get more Glaring Fleshraker triggers. I can also tutor like a Candy Trail off the Tezzeret here. You have 3 mana after. Well, the thing is, if I have 3 mana after, if I minus the Tezzeret, if I have 3 mana after, then it's weird, because then I just don't have a blocker. Okay, they have a Force of Negation, which pans out pretty well for me, I guess. Will they ever sack the Bobble? They do! They pitched a sink there. Why not Tezz the Chalice, then Fleshraker minus Tezz to get Artifact cast? Well, because you can't activate Tezzeret twice in 1 turn, right? If you're saying that you want to activate the same Tezzeret twice this turn, it seems way too all in. when we're not under that much pressure, it seems better to make sure I can do stuff with my Tezzeret, right? I can take 3 this turn. So I want to play Tezzeret before I play Coretapper. They have no cards in their hand, but might be reading. I thought you were upticking Tezz. Yeah, I said that line out loud and then I changed my mind. The only way to activate Tezzeret twice that turn was to cast 2 Tezzerets, which to me seemed like not something I wanted to do. Because it seemed really all in and just kind of uses all of our resources for no reason. It seemed way better to just like chill for a turn. I don't want to completely lose the Ballista here. Especially because I can put like counters on the Ballista, but my plan is to go chump, ping the drone token. I guess I could have pinged the drone token first. Okay, so round 3 of the Modern Challenge is firing off soon. But let's try to finish this matchup. So I can put my Ballista twice plus the Tezzeret activation. Could also like just grab a Candy Trail and get another blocker. I think that's gonna be fine. I guess we're pretty close to just killing them too. Like this is gonna deal damage. We just attack them for 6 this turn, and we have a 4/4 Ballista in play. Oh well. One of these, please. I think this is gonna be lethal if they don't have a counterspell as their last card. Doesn't really seem like they do. This is going to deal them 7 damage off the Glaring Fleshraker, and then we can attack for at least 5 plus the Ballista pings. Okay, did not play around it. Again, just trying to finish this matchup. Okay, we finished this matchup right on time. 3-1 in the league, 1-1 in the challenge. Certainly it could be fine to bring a deck like that. But yeah, if I was queued for the PT, I would definitely be testing this deck. Although it's a little bit weird too, where like you know, if we discovered it 10 days before release, I don't know. But I do think that this Birthing Ritual deck is really good. I get 1 extra counter if I go 1 into Surge Node instead of 0 Chalice, and the Surge Node activate doesn't really matter. What's the best deck against Sporos? I think it's Titan. I think Titan is the best deck against Sporos. Other really good decks are like I think Goryo's is really good against it. I think that Storm is quite good against it. Belcher's good, but honestly, play draw matters so much when it like they could just race you if they're on the play a lot, like enough of the time. I don't think the matchup's like that insane, or at least so I don't think it's so good that I would call it the best deck against Belcher, you know, or sorry, the best deck against Sporos. Might try to mill whatever I'm tutoring here, right? They do successfully mill my Expedition map, which is what I was trying to get. I guess now I just get a second Surge, dude. Untap the Chalice. Cast a Karn. Then let's grab the Paradox Engine, I think. Deck techs off today. Deck techs have been... I need to delete the channel point redemption option, but deck techs have been off for years now. They're just a little bit too disruptive, but if you have an idea that you really want to share, you can just post it in chat. If I'm interested, I'll take a look. And a lot of times if we're waiting for a challenge round to start and we're not playing a league match, I'll ask y'all for decks that you want to share. So there's one Karn in the yard, two Karns in the yard. Did they get the last one? I don't think they got the last one. 1, 2, 3. Right. Okay, they did get all the Karns, so I can't Karn for Mystic Forge and Karn for a win con this turn. Let's just start off by casting the Paradox Engine. Put a counter on this Tezzeret, which is not too likely to matter, right? Okay, not a lot left in here, huh? So we go activate Surge Node, activate Surge Node, cast a Tezzeret. Tezzeret. Activate. 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 Okay, so I've got 13 mana here. I could grab Extinguisher Battleship, which is a little weird, but might be enough to get the job done for the turn. Is my Ballista milled? Sorry, it is milled. I should have double checked on that. Seems like the Battleship is really my only option here, and I don't really like this because doesn't really seem very possible to win anymore. If they hadn't milled all my Karns, then it would have been kind of easy. Yeah, we just couldn't kill with Reservoir. We didn't have enough spells. We couldn't Karn for all three, you know. Karn on Battleship, Tezzeret counters get the job here. Yeah, we have 9 cards left in our deck. So yeah, I mean we can win, but like it's just we're not very likely to win. Maybe that's the better way to phrase this. Then to a archive trap, I don't have my forest, but we have to search from the field. And they don't have it. Okay, well obviously that's great news. They're dead next turn. I got 8 cards in my deck. It's a polluted Delta. Okay, well, should I just plus on the Battleship? Is there anything I should grab off the Karn? I don't have a Ballista. Ballista's the main for the Tezzeret. Alright, let's go for it. They have a Drown. But the thing is, if they had Drowned, why wouldn't they have killed the... I guess if they killed the Battleship main, then it gives me the option to do something else. Maybe they have a Crypt Incursion. If they have Crypt Incursion, I can Karn for Ballista. They have Odawara, wow! Cool. Crypt yourself, play around Drown. Well, then I can't attack, right? Ah, they found the mill spell. Close one. Wish for Cryptic Fade down, get more artifacts for Karn. Yeah, I mean, you're just kind of time walking yourself and letting them top deck a mill spell. What's the biggest hardcast challenge you've ever done? I know I've done it for over 20. I've probably done it for more than that, but it all just kind of blends together because at that point you're almost always going off with Paradox Engine, so there's not really any difference. 10 plus, you know, it's just infinite mana basically. There are still 20 matches of the challenge going. We finished that round really quick. I'll keep this on the play against Mill. Clip with the 14 months. Thanks, welcome back. Because we have 2 out of 3 pieces of Tron, I think we can feel pretty comfy playing the Coretapper, so if it dies, we just get Expedition map. Does the station thing just become a 0/0 with counters? I think it just comes with 0/0 with counters. You have to actually station it for it to be the creature, and you can't station itself. That's another rule interaction that's actually come up. Okay, well that makes things easy. So now Drown for Karn is online. I think I'm just gonna actually put this on the stack. I think they might not have realized they could cast Karn. Maybe they have a consign or whatever, but I was just kind of worried about them waiting a second on the surgical for Karn, so just putting on the stack seemed really nice. We lost game 1 to Mill. We're 2-1 in the challenge. And that Beanstalk was bad. Sorry, I keep calling it Beans because this 4-color Birthing Ritual deck is so similar to the Cascade Beans deck. And then it doesn't help that the enchantment cost is the same. It's just a 1 green enchantment. That's just my, neurotic self, not not anything else. Raven, 42 months. Welcome back. So now they surgical the Karns. How many Fleshrakers do we have left? And / do we still have the Ballista in our deck? Looks like we still have the Ballista, and we have 1 Glaring Fleshraker. So our main win con is gonna be Tezzeret for Ballista. You could say it's clickbait. Wait, is the title Beans right now? Oh my gosh, I'm keeping it. Literally, someone earlier is like the clickbait got me. I sincerely was like, what clickbait? Maybe I'm too neurotic to be a streamer, but I'm keeping it. That was not even intentional at all. I did do like 45 minutes on the bike this morning, so that was kind of rushing to get started today. Not clickbait, just brainless. Maybe better to save this for Glaring Fleshraker, but it seems like I probably should just be dumping the point in here, right? Mill does seem like a bad matchup. We used to play at Emrakul. Just hardcast the Emrakul. I guess let's go ahead and draw this Mystic Forge. And then the Opal, and then 2K commands. How the heck got sold? I think they're better in the main than the Charmals, in my opinion. They're just because you can agent into them on turn 3. For me, that's just like the whole thing. So we just really want to find the Tezzeret to get us our Ballista. That's kind of the main thing, so that way they don't mill our win con. Or the Fleshraker would be certainly acceptable. Only 1 left in the deck. Let's go bottom, top, and then draw this K command. And see what's, oh, it's another K command, of course, underneath, and then keep going. Look, there's got to be some win conditions in here somewhere. Maybe I miscounted and they're actually all gone. I'll keep the trail. Might as well keep the chalice. Oh, or I could just play the chalice or 0, whatever. Scry 2, bottom. I swear there's a Tezzeret and a Fleshraker, but I feel like we've already seen literally our entire deck, so maybe I'm wrong about that. Okay, there's the Ballista. So we're gonna cast this so it doesn't get milled, and then we're gonna have to pump this up a little bit, I think. Your turn. Your turn. Maybe I should do clickbait more often. We beat Titan. We 2-0'd them. They had 2-0'd them. Thankfully, they just had 2 grazers instead of like Scapeshift plus any other payoff in their hand. And they also didn't play around my subtlety. Yeah, we're main decking a lot of like, we're a Force of Vigor deck, we're a 4 subtlety main deck. We have 8 Stone Rain Dragons. Like we're pretty good against Titan, I think. Okay, let me just do a double count on the Fleshrakers. So there's 1, 2, 3. Okay, I guess there's still 1 in the deck. I don't know how that's possible though. I guess I also have the Urza Saga as the win con. Did I miscount? Okay, there it is. There is 1 in here. Okay, so how big is my K-Command Fireball? Let's just cast it. Punish for playing the Saga a little bit, I guess. I don't need to tap that yet. This is going to be 11 damage. Do I have 4 more spells in the deck? I probably do. Maybe they have a counter spell. Rewarded for playing the Saga. Okay, your turn. Alright, Miltoff. 3-2 this league. Let's do at least 1 more. No cube anymore though, so I guess we don't even have that as the backup option.